G'day folks, welcome to an Oz Cyclone Chasers Cyclone video update today for the nation on the 2nd of December 2015. My name's Chris Nitzo. This update is sponsored by a major sponsor, Campbell Scientific Australia, the only team we trust in a cyclone when measurements matter. Firstly, apologies, this is normally out to you on a Tuesday night. We've had to change it to a Wednesday lunchtime this week only, and that's only because we had an issue uploading to YouTube yesterday. So hopefully that'll be just a one-off issue. And we can go back to business as usual next week. But it doesn't really matter because there's not too much happening in the Australian tropics. West of Indonesia, we can see disorganised scattered convective activity, and that is probably what could become the onset of the monsoon trough in the southern hemisphere. It's a long way from Australia, though. We're talking a couple of thousand k's away, this convection. So no chance of that monsoon actually approaching Australia anytime soon. As we head further to the east across the northern tropics, we can see a lot of convective activity across the Kimberley and also across the western parts of the top end coast. As we track further east, we can see a lot of activity associated with the trough system across Queensland. We can also see a little Coral Sea surface trough that's just making its way onto the coast as we speak. Further to the east, we have disorganised convection around the Solomon Islands. And then even further to the east, we have another convective blob here associated with a convergence zone in the southwest Pacific. Now, none of these systems are expected to come towards Australia, nor are they expected to really organise. Looking at the surface level chart, we can see here that pretty well we're looking at an October/November type weather pattern at the moment, with trough systems across inland Queensland, a nice strong high here in the bight pushing eastwards, and a trough system with some heat lows across WA. So this is a very typical October, November type setup. I know we're into December, and the reason I mention it's an October-November setup is because our monsoon is probably going to run a couple of weeks late, if possibly even longer. And the current setup at the surface really shows that we are behind the times just a little bit. In fact, places such as Darwin, for instance, have only started to see their daily storms in the last week or so. So that normally happens towards the back end of October into early November. So the idea here is that this high will eventually push eastwards far enough and stabilise conditions right across Queensland, and then eventually stabilise conditions into the Northern Territory as well. However, there will continue to be this trough system across inland WA pushing eastwards into the NT, creating continuation of storm activity across inland regions of the northwest. A very active day weather-wise across northern Australia. You can see here a huge amount of activity across the northwest from the top end of the territory all the way west into the central Kimberley region. Also a lot of activity across southeast Queensland today. Some severe thunderstorms expected later this afternoon in that region if we get enough heating to support those. And that trough line will extend northwestwards out here into northwestern Queensland and then into the Northern Territory. As we go to tomorrow, we'll see the activity start to clear from the southeast corner of the state and start to push more into central Queensland. We have that trough system still maintaining some level of strength. However, it won't be as strong as it is today. We've also got that Coral Sea trough creating showers across the north coast of Queensland, north of Cairns. Further to the west here across the NT, we're looking at a continuation of very scattered thunderstorms, possibly extending as far west as Broome now into the Kimberley region, and then inland through the inland parts or interior parts of WA. On Friday, we're going to see the weakening of that trough system to almost nothing. There will still be some isolated convective showers associated with whatever's left of it. The Gulf country of Queensland expecting to see showers and storms. Another day of scattered activity across the Northern Territory and the Kimberley region on Friday, extending into the interior Friday as well. Saturday, we can see Queensland is now almost devoid of any activity weather-wise, except for those southeasterly winds pushing some showers on the coast between Cairns and Townsville. And further to the west, though, we continue to see scattered thunderstorm activity across the northwestern districts of the country. On Sunday, we will see Queensland pretty well, as I mentioned, sky clear here for most of the region. There might be some isolated showers here across the southeast coast. Might also be some isolated showers in the central coast. And not shown here but always in a southeasterly stream, we always have the chance of seeing isolated showers on that north tropical coast. But the rest of the state becomes very stable. Most of the central and eastern half of the Northern Territory becomes very stable as that ridging pushes westwards across that region, or pushes dry air, I should say, westwards across that region. What we will see, although, is a continuation across the Kimberley of scattered showers and thunderstorms extending into the interior. And this will be the next trough system, and this trough system will start to push eastwards from Sunday onwards. So if we look at the rainfall expected from Sunday through to around about next Tuesday or Wednesday, we can start to see that that next trough will start to track eastwards again across the NT and possibly start to impact western and central parts of Queensland, or central interior parts of Queensland, into the longer term. Into the longer term after that, we're probably looking at once again a motion of that trough system further to the east, and once again an increase in shower and storm activity across the southeast corner. It's very unclear as to whether or not that will extend northwards though. While there's no sign of the monsoon, there's certainly over the next 7 to 10 days we're going to see a lot of activity here in the northwestern parts of the continent, and that's definitely pleasing after a very, very slow start for this region. But I do need to stress that this is not monsoonal activity. This is a typical shower and storm activity. It's just that it's going to be very widespread due to an interaction of a lot of moisture advecting into a trough system and some shortwave upper level features in the region. So with no signs of cyclone activity in the Australian region over the next week, folks, that's all I've got time for today, and we'll talk to you again next Tuesday. As I say, we'll be back to Tuesday nights next week, assuming our upload goes smoothly. Just a reminder, if you'd like more information and longer videos about the future cyclone prospects across Australia, please consider becoming an Oz Cyclone Chasers subscriber at our website, ozcyclonechasers.com.au. Your subscription helps us do what we do best. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll talk next Tuesday.